this weekend, pretty special weekend of football. Anzac Day. Outside the finals, probably my favourite weekend of the year. I'm, pretty... I love that Anzac Day game. Now, I know there's 3 this year and there's usually 2, but the Anzac Day game is the Roosters and the Dragons. It's a game that anywhere else in the season I couldn't give 2/5 of about. But this week, 4 p.m. on Thursday, it's the only thing in the world that matters. Anzac Day football, mate, is it as special as I'm making it out to be, or just around the rugby league?
I love this game on the Anzac calendar. I love this game because it's 2 foundation clubs. Now, fair enough, St George have merged, blah, 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 but they still kept that St George mantra outside of taking the mickey out of them. They are St George. Okay? It's the Roosters. It's a rivalry. These clubs dominated the early periods of rugby league. These teams were the ones that were affected by the war because the players had to stop playing rugby league and go to the war. So, I love this game. I didn't really feel much affection for the Storm and the Warriors game because the game would kick off at 8 o'clock and by that time I just didn't care. Like, especially if it was a Tuesday night, you got to go to work the next day. Like rugby league, free rugby league, but that would be the game that I'd put on the TV and fall asleep to. Adding a third game onto the day, I feel just takes away the specialty of this Roosters, Rabbits. The Roosters Dragons game. I know New Zealand want to have their game, and that's fair. And putting it at the 2 o'clock time slot is fair for New Zealand fans. And if we're going to give New Zealand, that's it. Do the 2, the 4, and what significant? I know this is going to sound like terrible. What significance does it matter to Melbourne if they get an Anzac game? Just let the Warriors have it. Let the Roosters and the Roosters and the Dragons. That game should be the headline act. That should be if you're going to have an 8 o'clock game, it's that. But it's the 4 o'clock game, right?
Yeah.
So put the Warriors. Put the Warriors on at 2 o'clock. We can't fix everything, Dan. We fix a lot. We can't fix everything.
The NRL should have insisted on Melbourne going across. Now, the reason it's been changed is because New Zealand said, "Oh, it's our turn to host," and the NRL said, "Yeah, you're right." And then supposedly Melbourne said, "Well, we're not giving it up because it always sells out. It's a commercial success. It is a special day on the calendar down there, and it's become tradition in the 5 or 6 years that it's happened, or whatever. Might be much longer. Please excuse me if that's wrong. They should have just gone to New Zealand and played it for a year and then reverted back next year. I'm looking forward to it. 3 games of rugby league on a day of remembrance is fantastic. Nothing seems Anzacs like Australia versus New Zealand. I know they used to play the tests around this, the Anzac weekend, etc. But there's only one game that really, really, really matters, and that's obviously the Dragons.
If I think the game would have had more significance with Melbourne and New Zealand had it been alternated. 100%. But I don't give a crap about that Melbourne Warriors game, and I certainly don't give a crap about the Warriors Souths game now, and I don't even know who Melbourne are playing.
I think it might be Canberra, and that's a guess.
No, because Cronulla play Canberra.
There you go. See, I have no idea who it is. I'm looking forward to it because, as you said, rugby league is rugby league. But that game at 4 o'clock, outside of finals, and Origin obviously, is the most can't miss game of the year because both teams, the Dragons and the Roosters, can come in diabolical, despicable form, and it's the game of the round every single time.
And how many times have you seen the Roosters top of the competition and the Dragons floundering in 10th, and Matt Head kicks a goal from the sideline on that miracle comeback? It's theatre because these 2 teams just get it. They just get it.
Exactly right. And it is a special week. I always like the pre-match start of the memorials. I think it's something that we can never lose. And I know some people are like, it's overkill doing it every game. Just stand there and be quiet for 5 minutes and let me enjoy it, please. It's important to people. This is a great round of rugby league. I am so good.